There are more than 1 million people waiting right now for some action here in Washington. How long are they going to have to wait?
Well, I hope we get to it right away. It's an important program for individuals who are really in a tough spot today. These are long-term unemployed who cannot find employment, who desperately need some help in order to keep their families afloat.
Republicans, specifically House Speaker Boehner, have said that the cost of extending this should be offset. You have been very firm in disagreeing with that. Why?
Well, historically, we have not offset the cost because, first, we've collected the money during the good economic times. Secondly, it's not only to help the families, it's to help our economy. By putting more money into the economy, it helps produce additional jobs and economic growth. So if you offset it, that offset will take away some of the positive impact that the unemployment benefits have when rebuilding our economy.
What do we do about the problem with the long-term unemployed in this country right now? We can keep extending these benefits of unemployment, but eventually these people want jobs, don't they?
We don't have enough jobs. And the key point, and I hope the key focus of 2014 in the United States Congress will be what we can do to create more jobs, good jobs, here in the United States.
Will we raise the minimum wage in 2014?
I certainly hope so. The minimum wage has been stuck now for many years, so it needs to keep up with the economic times. So by just adjusting it now, we're just going back to its purchasing power a few years ago. So it's really to catch up. And when you look at the income differences in America, those who are working at minimum wage can't support a family. Let's make it a livable wage.
Senator Harkin would like to see that minimum wage raised above $10 an hour. Can we make that big of a jump?
What Senator Harkin is suggesting is a reasonable amount, and I think it will help our economy because it raises all levels of income for those who are at the margins when trying to support their families.
You know, talking about the issues in 2013, a lot of people thought something would finally get done on comprehensive immigration reform. Is that possible here in 2014?
Well, I certainly hope so. You know, the Senate's passed it. We passed it by a broad bipartisan vote. It is a bipartisan bill. America needs to reform its immigration system. It makes no sense. It's hurting our economy. It also speaks to what are the values of our country. So we certainly hope we can get it through the House of Representatives. But the Senate's done its work. We hope the House will do its work. You got to have Democrats and Republicans working together. It's not going to be what the Republicans want or what the Democrats want. And quite frankly, I think Americans want it that way.
Don't you think that relationship again and this talk of bipartisanship, it's going to be put to the test again in a couple of weeks when we start talking about raising the debt ceiling again, aren't we?
Well,
is this going to get ugly again?
I hope not. I mean, we've already really crossed this bridge. We had a big fight as to what the budget limits would be. We've reached an agreement. Everybody shook hands. We now are passing an omnibus bill reflecting that budget agreement. Well, the paying of our bills is part of that. To expect to get another round of negotiations is really, I think, not in the spirit of compromise that we saw in getting a budget.
But some people are already calling on another round of
negotiations. Well, there's some of the same people who didn't support the budget agreement also. I think at the end of the day, an agreement's an agreement. Let's move forward.
Tax reform has been an issue that's polling very popular. People have been wanting it for years now. Is that dead in the water for 2014?
Well, you're right. No one's happy with the current tax code, but the problem is how do you replace it? And that's never an easy
thing. You're on the
thing.
Finance Committee.
Well,
what do we do about it?
I do have an idea. I think America should join most of the other countries in the world and rely more on consumption taxes and less on income taxes. I think we'd be more competitive. We can make it fair by exempting a certain level of consumption so that it is equally or more progressive than our current tax code. So I think we should adopt a new tax code. The problem is it's not easy because there's winners and losers. And people who are doing well under this tax code are going to fight to maintain the tax breaks they currently have.
My last question for you is pretty simple here. In 2013, the American public was really turned off by what they saw happening here in Washington. Can they expect anything different here in this new year?
In 2013, the partisan differences prevented us from resolving too many issues. And we saw one manufactured crisis after another jeopardize America's strength. So I think the American people, I can tell you, this senator wants us to work together. That's how the system's supposed to work. Compromise is not a bad word.
When's the last time you had dinner with a Republican senator?
Oh, I had one not too long ago.
That's good to hear.
Oh, yes. We on a personal basis, the friendships are real. And I meet and talk with Republican senators on a daily basis. And what we need, and we all agree on this. So now we've got to take charge and put this partisan division aside and put the American interest first.